think it's happening. Wait, no, let me rotate it again. Hold on, guys. Hold on, it's all happening. It's all happening so fast. Okay. Boom. How's that? Can you see me? Okay. Welcome to my live stream, everyone. um, are people watching? Can people see this? Is this happening? All right. Well, this begins the drunk AMA live stream with your host, Piggy of bitchesgetriches.com, as it says right here on the boobs. This evening, I will be drinking beer in multiple festive beer koozies. The first of which is this one that I got at the National Western Stock Show. Oh my God! Hi! Thanks for coming. Thanks for neglecting your kids for me. I love that. Well, then this one's for you, done by 40. Tonight I am drinking a local Mexican lager, brewed right here in Denver, Colorado. Delicious. All right, well, I'm not really sure where to look, so I think this is the camera. This is the first time I've done a live stream by myself without Kitty, and I know what you're all probably wondering, which is, where is she? So, first question of the night, where the hell is Kitty? Well, she is super heckin' retired, which is wonderful for her. We're all very proud. And we thought that she should do a live stream about her retirement. And we were like, oh, but first, like, while she's having her little month-long sabbatical to begin her retirement, we should do one with me first to tide you over. So that was supposed to happen during the month of April, and it is now May. So we obviously didn't get that going very fast, but here I am, drink in hand, with my lovely producer, Ducky, who is reminding me to drink responsibly, so that's going to happen. Anyway, no topic is off limits. Yeah, so just keep the questions coming. I think I can see people are in the chat, but I can't see where things are happening. So anyway, first question. I guess it's second question because I just explained where Kitty is. How's everybody doing? The news from the leaked SCOTUS draft is pretty upsetting, obviously. So I do want to just acknowledge that that's what we're all sort of enduring right now. We don't talk enough in the personal finance blog and podcast sphere about reproductive rights, even though they are one of the biggest factors determining a woman's economic status in society. And when I say woman, I of course mean anyone with the ability to get pregnant, which includes not just women, obviously. So I just want to let anybody who is reeling from that news to know that, you know, you're not alone. We're right there with you. Definitely check out our article on how to get an abortion. It is literally titled How to Get an Abortion. It has lots of resources and things and, you know, ways to make sure that your reproductive health care is still in your hands, even if your state has decided that you don't have the right to your own bodily autonomy. So spread the news, be there for each other. We'll all get through this patriarchal hellscape together, and I'll drink to that. All right, Ducky, what's my first question? Hit me. Great. Oh my God! Can you guys still hear me? Thank you so much. Okay, next question. This one comes to us from our Tumblr. For those of you who do not know, we have a very active Tumblr community. That's where all the baby gays go. And we are, as you know, like we are very fond of the baby gays. So we go to Tumblr to make sure that they have the beautiful auntie help that they need from us. That is what we provide for them. So yeah, let's just let's take a question from this here Tumblr. Okay. So this is kind of an interesting one. So apparently, more than half of Amazon's, oh, this is the question, by the way. It's from an anonymous reader on Tumblr. Apparently, more than half of Amazon's revenue comes from AWS, Amazon Web Services, which is not even related to the shopping portion of Amazon. They host websites, data buckets, etc., and it's used for tons of websites and especially small ones. It's especially loved for people learning web development and feels inescapable. Do you think driving down the shopping portion of Amazon will make a good impact on Amazon anyway, given that most of their profits come from AWS? Wondering if you had any insight/feelings on this. We do indeed have insight and feelings on Amazon. As my beloved co-blogger would say, if you want to eat the rich, stop feeding Amazon. Which is a great sentiment, right? And it's certainly very quotable. But in this case, the question is, is boycotting shopping at Amazon really going to hurt them given how much of their profits come from Amazon Web Services? So I think this is a really good point. And I do want to point out that one of the reasons we do things like boycotting is to make our feelings known, but also to improve the landscape, not just for consumers, but for laborers as well. Amazon, as we all know, has a bad habit of union busting and mistreating their employees, which obviously we are not all for that. But they also have a really damaging effect on small craftspeople and business owners and everyone else in local economies who is being partially driven out of business by this horrible giant conglomerations. So correct, the retail market that Amazon represents is not the biggest part of their profits, but by boycotting shopping at Amazon, what you are doing instead is shopping local, shopping small business, and shopping in a way that is going to be more respectful of small business owners and laborers in general. At least that's the intent. So yes, I understand that, the retail market might not be the biggest chunk of their source of revenue, but it still really helps the overall consumer market and small business owners and laborers if you are shopping elsewhere besides Amazon. I hope that helps. Okay, so next question. Thank you, Ducky, for queuing these up for me. All right. Here's another one from an anonymous reader, I believe. It says, okay, what's the rule for spending on new experiences? Good question. And good beer. By the way, you guys, do you like my National Western Stock Show koozie? It's shaped like a boot. I love it. I have several different novelty koozies lined up for you guys this evening, so I hope you appreciate them all. Okay. I know the bitch's advice is to not spend money on things you don't like. This is very true. One of the worst ways you can spend your money is on things you don't like or need. But I'm going to travel abroad for the first time ever soon. Oh, congratulations. So I can't say, I love to travel, because I don't know. I don't even really vacation. Similarly, I want to start saving for a concert for a musician I love and who will be expensive. But I've never been to a concert before. Is it okay to gamble on fun? Or is 30 too old to try new things that cost that much? Oh, I love the idea of 30 being old. Just real quick side note, life gets better after 30. Anyone who says otherwise is fucking up. All right, so the rule on spending on new experiences. I think everything in moderation, obviously. I think that before you throw a bunch of money at a new experience, you should absolutely do some research on that new experience. Make sure it's an experience that you actually, have a high likelihood of liking and enjoying. So for example, my husband and I went to Portugal for our 5th anniversary on credit card points, by the way, so it was a free trip. But it was his first time in Europe. And before we went, I did a lot of the research, but he really made sure that he researched things that he knew he would like. So he's a big foodie. He loves to drink. We have that in common. So he researched the hell out of Portugal, and he made sure that in his research, he found the things that he wanted, that really aligned with the things that he likes to do day to day. That's just one example. My brother, weirdly enough, has always wanted to try skydiving, like his whole life. Like this is something that he, has planned to do forever and ever and ever. And I think it was maybe 2 or 3 years ago, right before ye old pandemic, he decided he was going to do it. So, he chose to spend that money on a new experience because it was something that he always wanted to do, not something that he sort of impulsively was like, you know what, I'll try this someday. So I think that that's kind of the rule with spending money on new experiences is make sure that it's something that you like have planned for a while or that you've researched the hell out of so that you know that it would potentially be a good idea. Cool. At this moment, I've got some other questions lined up, but I also want to introduce you to my co-host for the evening. This is Bobblehead Kitty and Piggy. I don't know if you guys saw this on our social media, but yeah, this is us. And look, I'm wearing this shirt. But yeah, if you guys can see that, we're very cute. Aren't we adorable? Hi, Kitty. This is your head unbobbling. And this is my head. I think that they really they really did a great job on our hair. They went with our natural hair colors rather than the purple and pink that we so often flaunt in our hair. But yeah, I'm very proud of this. I love this. Thank you, the Motley Fool and All Star Money. So those are our co-hosts for the evening. All right. Next question. Okay. And Ducky, you're doing a fantabulous job texting me these. It's actually working out really well for me. Okay, so this question is, advice for doing a good job at work when I have hideously toxic coworkers gossiping about me? Ooh, I hate those fucking coworkers. I must interact with them regularly throughout the day. Relevant info. I'm pretty new at work and I don't have allies. Ooh, that sucks. I'm not really into the idea of making close friends at work. I'm still very friendly and polite. For exactly this reason, I hate drama. Girl, me too. I just want to go in, do my job, and be pleasant to my work acquaintances. But these assholes are stressing me out, and I need advice on coping. Oh my God. I think you've come to the right place for this. We aren't just bitches in that bitches are confident, aggressive people who believe in truth, justice, and the American way. Bitches also enjoy bitching. So I think that you need to find some friends to bitch with. I think you need to find some people, allies, to use your word, like find some people who are going to listen and be receptive to what you're going through. A support network for shitty coworkers, like I don't know if that exists, but like find it, So don't underestimate the power of complaining. A lot of people use blogs as an outlet. When I worked in publishing, this is little known fact about Piggy a million years ago. I kept a blog of like the interactions I had with writers that were really, really shitty. And that was kind of a great outlet for me to be like, look at these people. I'm not just a lunatic for not liking them. Look at these assholes and how they treat me. And it was really validating to get the rest of the internet going like, wow, those assholes are really terrible to you. So yeah, that's just my thing. Complaining is cathartic. I think you're right to be avoiding the drama. No one sane likes to be involved in drama. Like we all like to watch it. I've been binging Catfish recently, so yes. But you're right to be avoiding it and just find an outlet with like-minded people. Okay. So, next question. For drunk Piggy, the love of my life. Oh, thank you. What kind of enrichment opportunities do you offer your chickens? Finally, we are getting to the good questions. Oh, and thank you, Jennifer, for loving my hair. I don't know if everyone can see this, but my hair is purple. Or I have the bottom layers of my hair is purple. Okay. So what kind of enrichment opportunities do you offer for your chickens? My 4 backyard gals are seeming stressed, and I'm not sure what else they want to do. Oh, that's so sad. Okay, so chickens, despite what the poultry industry would have you think, require enrichment. They like to do things. They like to hunt and peck and range around. So the biggest enrichment I offer my chickens is our backyard is landscaped entirely in native plants and grasses. So I'm not too picky about them poking around in the grass and worried about them ruining it. And obviously every time they take a shit, like that's just fertilizing the ground. So the biggest enrichment I offer them is I let them run around the yard. I let them free range quite a bit. And my dog is very, well, he didn't start out being very accepting of the chickens, but now he's pretty sure that his job is to protect them, not attack them. So like my favorite thing to do is like be out there in the garden with my chickens ranging around and my dog lounging in the sun, keeping an eye on them. So definitely, like if you can give them places to range, that's great. I also have a friend who has, well, she has 18 chickens, so that's quite a few more than me. But she has a couple of xylophones, like just along the sides of her chicken pen. So apparently the chickens will like peck at that. Another thing chickens really like to do is roost. So if you can grab an old ladder or a couple of old pieces of scrap wood that you can bang together, and just give them places inside their pen that they can get up nice and high, besides inside the coop, obviously, which is, you know, what they more think of as like nesting or roosting areas. So just give them places to get up high, give them room to run around, and maybe a xylophone or three. So I hope that helps. All right, next question. Okay. Hello, bitches. Hello. I don't know who else to turn to, and the internet has confused me. Many years ago, I had a private student loan which I defaulted on. Ooh, shit. I have spent several years still making payments on the debt. The only bonus was it didn't acquire interest. Okay. I went to pay today, and they told me the statute of limitations was passed, and they would not sue me, and they also would not collect payment on the debt. They couldn't explain more, of course not, or send me anything else in writing. So now what? You in danger, girl. You need to talk to a lawyer or a financial planner. The defaulting on student loan debt is, I would say it's kind of a deceptive term, especially because you can't get rid of student loans in bankruptcy. So they are kind of hard to get rid of. I'm wondering if this loan has just been sent to a different collections agency and they have either sold it off or done something with it. But I definitely think you need professional advice to get to the bottom of this. And while I may play a professional on TV, I am not actually one. So I would just say you're right to be extremely skeptical of this, especially if you've been paying the loan and they're suddenly like, oh, you don't owe anything. Like, that's very suspicious. So I would get in touch with either a financial planner, make sure they're a fiduciary. We've talked about this before in the podcast, or a lawyer, whichever one is easiest for you to get. Probably a financial planner. Anyway, good luck. Student loans are no joke. Here's to, you know, student loan debt resolution or whatever. Yeah, like Biden, sign the law, please. Okay, what is next? You guys are doing great, by the way. Thank you so much for asking these questions. Ooh, this one's from No Feho. Repeat customer, No Feho. Good to see you, friend. Bestie Piggy, what does marriage mean to you? Oh, fuck yeah, hitting me with the good questions. I'm getting married this year after 8 years together, 4 years engaged, and 2 postponements due to COVID. Oh, honey. We already are 100% entangled financially and emotionally already. So what do you think is the meaning of financially having the wedding? Does it feel different once it's official? Okay. So I'll start by saying what marriage means to me. Because I have multiple spouses in my life. I of course have Bear, my husband, who is my life partner, my spiritual other. And as far as he is concerned, what marriage means to me and to us is connection and wanting the same thing out of life. You dream the same dreams. I can't imagine my life without him at this point. I was at a funeral recently and have him. Oh boy, this just got super personal. I was at a funeral recently, and since then I've been having nightmares about funerals, and the worst one is always thinking about his funeral, and just, I don't know what I would do. I'd probably shave my head and move to Mars, because that's how unimaginable life is without him. More importantly, I also have my work wife, my business wife. You all know her and love her. I am, of course, talking about Kitty. And as far as I'm concerned, what our work marriage means, what BGR means to us, is having the same passions and the same goals, and just having somebody that you know that will support you and root for you in those passions and goals. Like we regularly have this issue where like I will personally work my fingers to the bone because I don't want to disappoint her. But when she is working her fingers to the bone because she doesn't want to disappoint me, I'm like, dude, calm down. It's fine. Like, take a break. Like, go play video games. Go take a nap. Go do something. So, I think it's important to have that like that accountability partner who's also going to be way easier than on me than I am on myself, and vice versa. So that's kind of what marriage means. Also, close friendships, apparently. All right, now let's get to the point about what is the meaning of finally having the wedding financially. So we wrote an article that you might want to look up, my love, all about how to get married. And it's literally the bureaucracy and the paperwork and stuff. So I do think it's important for people in long-term committed relationships to get married. And if you're morally against marriage for one reason or another, like I totally respect that. However, you'll need to put some other paperwork in place to like take care of yourself. Just as an example, let's say tomorrow I got hit by a bus while I was wandering down to the park. If I was sent to the hospital, my husband, because we're legally married, would have the right to make my medical decisions for me. If, however, we were not married, my next of kin, legally speaking, would be my parents. And they would be the ones responsible for making those decisions. Now, I've talked to Bear a number of times about what I want in the event of a disastrous medical situation or even death. Like, he knows I want to be donated to science. I want my skeleton to like show up in a classroom someday and to have kids learn what a humerus is by pointing to my desiccated remains. That really excites me. Or to have me be like donated to a body farm where I would just be decaying for science and scientists would be like, yep, that bitch is covered in cockroaches. Like that just, But he knows that. My parents, however, I've never had that conversation with them because why would I? I expect them to, I expect to outlive them, right? So it's important to have the legal protections of somebody who's like got your back legally and medically speaking. There's also a lot of other benefits, tax benefits, immigration benefits. I don't know. Kitty's texting me. I don't know like what your immigration status is or anything like that. But it is important for the protection of you and your spouse. If you can legally get married, it's a good idea, legally and financially speaking. If you can't get married, that sucks, and that means the rest of us need to keep fighting for marriage equality. For example, not a lot of people know this, but one of the ways we discriminate against disabled people in the United States is by cutting their disability benefits if they get married. So that's bullshit, and we should be fighting against that. So thank you for asking. All right, next question. I was wondering if you lovely humans had any advice for starting up your own business. I'm having some serious health problems to the point that my parents and I aren't even sure I can go back to college next fall. I'm sorry, honey. But I can't live at home due to my having a service animal, which my mother is deathly allergic to. Yeah, that sucks. And apartments are expensive. I just don't know how people kickstart their own businesses. Well, this is a great question, and I'm gonna take a minute to imbibe a little more beer before I answer it. So, as you all know, Kitty and I are small business owners. We have one whole employee. Shout out to Ducky once again, our manager, producer, assistant, jack of all trades. She does everything. She's amazing. And before we hired her, we did it all ourselves. We set up the LLC. We started the bank account. We filed the taxes, all of these things. So I would say the first thing you need to do when you're starting your own business is to make sure that you actually have a good idea. And that sounds really basic and silly and whatever, but I'm serious. You know, there are 1,000,001 personal finance blog podcasts, video channels out there. Ours is the only one that does exactly what we do. You know, we're the one with the word bitch in the title, and we're the ones who just allow ourselves to go on 4,000 word screeds about economic issues and things like inflation and unfettered capitalism and how that relates to the prison industrial complex, et cetera, et cetera. So make sure you have a good idea. Make sure you're the only one who's doing it, or if you know you're not the only one who's doing it, make sure there's enough demand that yet another company could work out for that. One of our good friends is Caitlin Magnuson. You can look her up at the Freelance CFO, um, thefreelancecfo.com. Caitlin Magnuson is just what it says on the box. She helps people start their own businesses. She helps them start up the financial side of things. If you need to start yourself an LLC or a B Corp or S Corp or whatever the corp is, she can walk you through those things. I would say, it's pretty easy to be like, oh, well, I'm just going to start selling stuff on Etsy, or I'm just going to, tell my neighbors I'm going to walk dogs. And I would caution you from just stopping there and being like, well, let me try that and try earning that and money that way and go from there. Like, do go through the paperwork. Do get yourself set up to, file taxes and whatever, because you're really going to regret it down the road if you get your business running and you don't have the backside of things all set up. So the tax man, ask not for whom the tax man cometh, it cometh for thee. I think that probably means the beer's kicking in. Ooh, I wanted to share something else with you guys from my shelf of props. So our friend Taylor made this. Taylor is a longtime reader, listener, follower, and they are a woodsmith carpenter. They're a carpenter. That's a word. I know words. But it's like a little card holder. Look at that. So they made 3 for us. So 1 for me, 1 for Kitty, and 1 for Ducky. And I will eventually mail them all out to them. But so I just wanted to thank Taylor. You can follow Taylor on Instagram at I'm going to have Ducky look that up for me. Ducky, will you look up Taylor Woodcraft something on Instagram? We definitely follow them, and they follow us. But yeah, I probably should have had that information queued up, because now I look like an idiot. Next question. Okay. Here's another one. Hello, aunties. Hello, my dear. I'm planning to get an apartment with a friend, and my mom says I should have around $4,000 saved up before I start seriously looking, and I'm halfway there. Oh, congratulations! However, my friend still doesn't have a job, doesn't seem to be putting any real effort into getting one. So how should I talk to her about it? Also, how much should I budget for things like actually furnishing the apartment? Who pays for shared items like fridges and living room shit? Listen, as a veteran roommate of the roommate wars of 2010 through 2015, I can tell you I have a lot of advice for this. So the fact that your friend doesn't have a job and doesn't seem to be really focusing that much on earning the money that you guys need to move out together, that is a huge red flag. Again, catfish reference. I should be waving a little red flag like Cammie does. I would really seriously sit down with your friend and be like, look, are you serious about moving in with me? Because if so, you need to start saving. You need a job, you need to do this, or, I'm going to have to look for somebody else, or moving out on your own, which I don't recommend in this market. Or in general, it's so much better to live with a friend first. So I would definitely sit them down and be like, this is not, oh, okay, hold on. Circling back. So Taylor is at Whitby Woodworks on Instagram. That's WHITBY Woodworks on Instagram. They are the one who made our beautiful little wooden card holder thingy, and they have made other woodcraft before, but they take commissions, so you should definitely hit them up. Thank you so much, Ducky. Yes, that is the correct one. Thank you. All right, back to our roommate thing. You and Danger Girl. Okay, so talk to her, make it seriously known that, you know, if she doesn't get her act together, like, you guys won't be moving in together. And that is the first rule of roommateness, is like, you guys can be friends and you can also be roommates. But there are times we need to be like, you know what, friendship aside, send the friends out of the room. We need to talk as like cohabitants right now because we're late on our electric bill. This is something that Kitty and I had to do a lot when we were living together, which was like, all right, you know, whose turn is it to buy the groceries? Whose turn is it to do X, Y, and Z? And honestly, like, our friendship was better for it because we were really honest with each other, and we really, you know, took the time to make sure that, you know, everything was taken care of and nobody was really overburdened. And if there ever was a problem, it was usually because of me. And we took care of it. So again, talk to your roommate. As far as budgeting for a new apartment, that's a great question. I would at first say that less is more. I definitely recommend using Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace to get the furniture you need. And also just be realistic about what you need. You might be like, oh, I'm gonna buy a dish rack and this and that and everything else, only to move in and be like, oh, well, the apartment has a dishwasher, so I won't be hand washing as many dishes as I expected, and there's not really room for a bookshelf, so this thing that I bought is just taking up space. So just, you know, fall back on the necessary things. There's also, and I know people are going to argue with me about this, so like, don't start. There's nothing wrong with a fucking mattress on the floor. I slept on a mattress on the floor for like 5 years and it was fine. So people who are like, you need a really like good hardwood bed, like bed frame, niceness and whatever, like, they're fucking wrong. Ignore them. If you can't afford one, you can absolutely sleep on the goddamn floor and it will be fine. I promise. Okay. Next question. Drinking some beer. Once again, I am drinking a Mexican lager, brewed right here in Denver, Colorado. Oh, Ducky's sending me questions. Fast and Furious now. Oh my God. Ducky just told me that all of her furniture came from an alley for years. So amazing. Love it. Love it. Okay. Here is the next question. SOS. Oh, honey. I work remotely for a startup and they just got a Slack channel. Oh boy, you're in it now, baby. The work I do is a lot of sit at your computer alone stuff. So prior to this, I was not in constant contact with my coworkers, aka the dream. Now I, a Scorpio with social anxiety who just wants to eat cheese alone with my dog, has to have unplanned interactions with my coworkers all through the day. I'm dying. Please share your best advice, hot takes, etc. on how to use the company Slack channel without being awkward. Oh my God. Well, I just saw that somebody I work with is in the channel right now. So hey Lauren, how's it going? So I will be diplomatic about Slack. I actually kind of love it. And I think that's because I've worked from home for like 4 years. So to me, I'm just like a little bit of an outgoing introvert and I'm just like, yeah, I can talk to people about things. But truly, honey, muting Slack is self-care. Like, turn it off one day. Hey, Lauren. Just turn it off. Choose one day a week. Like Thursdays, I am not on Slack. If you need me, send me a carefully worded email. But like, log out of it, turn off notifications, just shut it off. On top of that, you should definitely mute certain channels. Like my company has 1,000,001 channels and most of them are on mute for me because I don't need to look at them on the daily. So just mute them and whatever. Treat it like a text messaging thing to talk to people. Also, like, honestly, when in doubt, honesty is the best policy. I tend to lean into my own social awkwardness by telling people like, oh, sorry if this is really weird and awkward. That's just who I am. And people are like, oh, well, you're so precious. And I'm like, I know. So definitely lean into the awkwardness and just be honest with people and mute that shit as often as possible. That's my advice. All right, next questions. Oh, does anyone want to see my dog? Raise your hand if you want to see my dog. Okay, I can't tell you if you guys are raising hands. Strider, come here. Come here, buddy. Come here. Come here. Come show the people your handsome face. Come show the people. Come here. Here he is. Okay. This is my elderly dog. Can you sit? Sit, buddy. Sit. Let me see if I can actually turn the thing. Oh, God, this is... Strider, come here. Come here. No, come here, dum-dum. Well, now I've totally fucked this up because he won't come over here. Strider, come. There he is. This is my dog. Yay! And he still won't look at you guys. All right, never mind. See me? All right, great. Next actual question that's not my dog being recalcitrant. Okay. Hi, bitches. You've answered my questions a couple of times, and I've treasured each answer. Oh, thanks. A little more wisdom. I'm planning on moving out of my parents' house after I get a year of salary into my savings. They've generously not made me pay rent. While this means I'm able to save most of my paycheck each month, I don't really know what it means to have a budget. I don't know what items I should put in a budget or what are good tools for it. Oh, here we go. Is everybody ready for my budgeting screed? So famously, we bitches don't budget. I don't think it works for everybody, and that's fine. What I do instead is I track my money. I have created my own sort of little Excel spreadsheet, but you can use other things. You can use you can use Mint for this. It's a really good software. But basically, like, start tracking your spending now. Like, see what you're spending money on. It sounds like you're moving into your very first apartment out of your parents' home. So, like, ask your parents what they budget for. Like, ask them what they're spending their money on and whatever. But start tracking your spending now. Get some beta from your parents, from other friends who live alone, or from relatives who live on their own, and just be like, can I take a peek at your budget or your spending tracker, or, like, I don't know, your credit card statement? And from there, that'll give you an idea of what things actually cost, and sort of the breakdown of them. The biggest ones are, of course, housing, food, transportation, utilities, and insurance. Those are kind of the things you can't really get away from. I'm probably missing one or two there, and I'm sure people will, like, debate me on the insurance question, but those are the big ones. So start with those 5 categories. I have other categories, including pet care. Obviously, the chickens, the dogs, the bees, they take a little bit of money. Things like, I'm a homeowner, so, like, home maintenance is a category, you know, just in case my water heater decides to shit the bed. So start with that and go from there. If you really, like, are set on the idea of budgeting and you don't just want to track your expenses, You Need a Budget is a really good software, shortened to YNAB, if you're in the know, in the biz. But yeah, they really, I have a lot of people who really swear by it. So, okay. Ducky keeps sending me more little questionroony duties. The beer is kicking in. Well, that's done. Next beer. This one is from my friend's wedding. It says we came for the I do's and stayed for the free booze. This wedding was amazing, by the way. It was in Arizona, which is a wild place. I was like one of few non-trophy wives at this wedding, and I came directly from a business trip to, like, Vancouver. So, you know, I'm making small talk with the other wedding guests and talking to some dudes, and they were like, oh, you came from a business trip? And I was like, yeah, I did. A real life business trip. And I say to my husband later, I'm just like, those guys, like, really didn't understand the concept of a business trip. He was like, no, they didn't understand the concept of a working wife, because their wives don't work on purpose because they're fucking loaded. So that was a little bit of a culture shock for me. Anyway, cheers, my friends. All right, next question. Hello, bitches. So I noticed I haven't received my paycheck. It's usually transferred to my bank account around the 10th. Fuck. Any tips on how and when to politely inquire about it? Through text, when we're on Zoom, when we're work from home right now? I'm only a student intern, albeit full-time, and I don't want to create any awkward situations or future issues. My boss isn't too intimidating, but I've been anxious about this. Thanks in advance. Okay, so first of all, If your paycheck is ever late, you wait. Like, give them the 24 hours of the day it's usually arrives, in this case the 10th, and then the very next day you start bugging them about it. Because that's your fucking livelihood. And they don't know your situation. Maybe you have medical bills to pay. Maybe you got student loans. Whatever. Maybe you're going to get your lights turned off. They can't pay you fucking late. I just got really incensed about that. So start bugging them immediately. You can definitely slip it into a phone call or a Zoom. But I would, in general, if that happens to you again, I would make a phone call immediately and be like, hey, I haven't received my paycheck yet. Is there anything you can tell me about that? Or, you know, set up a specific Zoom meeting. Like, you don't have to shoehorn it into like the end of a meeting or another meeting or whatever. And also, like, never be afraid to talk to your boss about that kind of stuff. This coming from somebody who like didn't get a raise with my promotion and like waited years and years to actually ask about that, and they ended up giving me more than I asked for because they simply forgot to give me the raise with my promotion. So don't be afraid to ask for that. You could lose out on hundreds of thousands of dollars over your career by not, you know, asking about being paid fairly. And I know we're just talking about one paycheck here, but like seriously, this attitude will spiral and snowball out of control. Like, this is your money. Don't let anybody get in between you and it, especially not your boss. And if they do it more often than once, like, fucking go to a different job. You owe them nothing. All right, next question. Ooh, more wedding questions. All right, I'm gonna hold that and then I'm gonna go, ooh, we've got a bunch. Okay, they're coming at me fast. I can't handle it. Ooh, I like this one. All right. Bitches, what is it like to be kind of famous? Do the people sometimes have weird parasocial relationships with you? I know you don't get recognized on the street, but you do have more than 500 asks on Tumblr, and you are seemingly very loved in your industry. Do you feel famous at all, or too famous, or not enough? First of all, how dare you speak to me? Second of all, it's very, very strange to be slightly internet famous. We are like Z-list internet celebrities, which is hilarious to me, especially given, you know, I went to school with people who had dreams of being famous actors and musicians and writers, and I make poop jokes about money, and people recognize me for that, and that's just fucking hilarious to me. So it's mostly funny, but I will say it's also extremely touching. We were in Cincinnati recently for the economy conference, which highly recommend. Everyone should go. It was an incredible experience, just super fun to share with people and learn from others. And after our main stage performance, we had a line of people waiting to say hi and take selfies with us. And these were people from the internet. They came up and they were like, oh my God, I've followed you for years. Look, I'm wearing your t-shirt. Like, I have your tote bag. Like, can I get your autograph? And I mean, it was mostly selfies. Come on, it's 2022. But that moment was extremely humbling for both of us because we're like, oh my God, these are the people that we've been talking to. These are the people who follow us and who ask us questions and who read every fucking word that we write. And like, do we fucking deserve this? This level of fame and adoration? Like, to me, it was very surreal and fun and humbling, but it was also like, it was a huge responsibility. Oh, hey, Doug. Enjoy your beer, Doug. But yeah, it was a huge responsibility because when you meet these people face to face who have been following you and your internet famous self for years, it really puts a face on like, oh, okay, we owe these people good information. We owe them quality content and advice and a compassionate ear to listen. You know, like there's all kinds of people who do what we do and who are very much in the tough love school of financial information giving. And I think you guys know that's not us. You know, we call ourselves the bitches, but we are more like your gentle internet aunties who are going to hold you close and stroke you while you stop crying, and then say it's probably not all gonna be all right, but we can get through this together. So anyway, that's what it's like to be internet famous. It's very weird. Every once in a while, I will be doing something, and someone will be like, "Oh wait, bitches get riches? I've heard of that." And that's when you really feel cool. That's when you really feel cool. All right, next question. All right. What are your favorite and least favorite things that people do at weddings? Any hated traditions or amazing things that should be more popular? Oh, okay. So glad you asked. So first of all, I love a good wedding. I love a good party, really, but you know, that's what a wedding is. I love a wedding tradition from the old country. In the case of my family, it's usually stomping on some glasses and going "Oppa!" So that's pretty cool. I love multicultural wedding ceremonies. I just had a friend who was Catholic get married to a guy who was Jewish, and they incorporated both faiths in their wedding, and it was really beautiful and it was wonderful and it was like very sweet, especially for their grandparents and parents. Things that I fucking hate at weddings. I'm just gonna say this. We're gonna get hate mail. I hate children at weddings. And I hate children at weddings because children at weddings, the parents of said children too often think that like the children are everyone's favorite part about the wedding, and that can't be farther from the truth. So they like let them take over the dance floor and like let them wander up to the altar like during the ceremony and whatever. It's just like, no, like this is about the couple. Like keep your kid under control and just, you know, let them be cute and whatever, but like keep a leash on them or something. So I don't know. I banned kids from my wedding, and most of my friends with kids were like, "That's great. We'll get a babysitter for the evening, and then we'll get drunk and dance." And my boss at the time was like, "Oh, it's really hard to find a babysitter. Are you sure I can't bring my kids?" And I was like, "Yes, I'm sure. If I'm not letting like family members bring young children, certainly I'm not letting you." So anyway. Sorry, I just saw a question from Doug that disappeared randomly. Maybe Ducky can find that for me. Anyway, okay, so other hated things about weddings. Yeah, really just, I just hate when people let their kids off the chain. I also, I feel like the baby got back dance at weddings between the bride and groom needs to end. Like that's just a tradition we can just not do anymore. It's over. It's very 2005. We can just get rid of it. Okay, next question. What do I do if I am 3 years and a college degree into an engineering career that I'm beginning to think I don't want to do? I don't have any debt, and I'm 24, so it feels like there's a timer to be done with this before I'm kicked off my parents' insurance. Help! Oh, okay, so Doug, by the way, was referring to my books up here, and he said he loved the Passage trilogy, which you all should read. We'll go through my bookshelf in a minute, but let me answer this question first. So our question asker is 3 years into an engineering degree, 24, debt-free. They've got the clock ticking to when they get kicked off their parents' insurance at 26. But honestly, like, I'm not seeing any downsides here. Like, if you are 3 years into this degree and you decide you actually really don't like, engineering career, you really don't like engineering, like, you are so young and you have so much time to switch directions. And as somebody who, you know, changed careers sort of in my early 30s, I can say that like I've never looked back and it was a great decision for me. So if you truly don't like engineering, try something else. There's really no downside there. Like you can go back to engineering eventually. They're not going to take your degree away. They're not going to like erase your resume. You know, you might even be more qualified to do some things in engineering if you're like, you know what, I tried marketing for a while, or I went and I worked at a bakery for a while. You'd be surprised how transferable skills work. So I'd say honestly, like there's really no downside to trying something different, especially your age. Just make it happen, you know? Put a pause on your engineering career, try something else, and if you hate that even more, again, you can go back to engineering, or you can try a third thing. Like, Sky is your oyster. That's the saying, right? That's my beer. All right, let's go through my bookshelf, you guys. So here we have These Truths, which is a history of the United States by Jill Lepore. You will recognize her as a writer for, I think, the New York Times? I don't know. She's a famous liberal, feminist, progressive journalist. You'd like her. The Notorious RBG, which is Ian Carmen's inestimable inestimable biography of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Love it. Then we have Lamb, The Gospel According to Biff, Christ's Childhood Pal, which if you've never read Christopher Moore, like you're not doing yourself any favors. Like you need to go read this man, especially this book. It's actually taught in seminaries. It's a comedy, obviously, about what if, Jesus grew up with a pal who was like the ornery mischievous one while Jesus was, being Jesus. It's really funny. I recommend it highly, especially if you have a functional knowledge of the New Testament. Next we have The Sparrow by Mary Doria Russell, one of my favorite science fiction books. It's hella dark and hella religious, weirdly, but still really good. Wanderers by Chuck Wendig, another one of my favorites. This one came out right before 2020, and it's about a global pandemic. So good luck with that. Neil Gaiman, American Gods and Nazi Boys, like, need I say more? A Dance with Dragons, again, need I say more? These are all, like, fantasy books you all know and love. And then, as Doug was pointing out, The Passage and The City of Mirrors, which are two books in the Passage trilogy by Justin Cronin, which is about a vampire apocalypse, but, like, even better. So anyway, books will set you free. All right, here we go. Next question. You're welcome, Doug. Okay, most of the questions you get seem to come from young people. What's your advice for someone in her mid-40s who has had to rebuild several times after layoffs and other job losses? I currently have a small emergency fund, contribute to the max to my 401k, and contribute to an HSA, but I feel I will never get ahead. Every time I get my feet under me, I get laid off and have to start over. Oh, that sucks. It's discouraging as fuck. Am I going to have to work until I die? Man, this question hurts my soul. Because of course this is everyone's nightmare, is like constantly getting laid off just when you get ahead. And I feel that people are especially feeling that right now if they take even a passing glance at the stock market and see that things like, your investments are looking like they're going down the tubes, which you shouldn't do. You should not be looking at the stock market right now. Just ignore it. And I'm struggling with how to answer this one because I am an eternal optimist, but also a pragmatist. And I feel like the way to answer this is probably to say, now is the time to take a risk. You've played by the rules your entire life. You are saving that 401k, that HSA, and you keep getting the rug pulled out from under you. So now's the time to try something completely different. If you've ever thought that you want to rent your house out and go live in an RV for a year, now's the time to try that. If you ever thought you wanted to go work in Europe for a year, now's the time to try that. If you ever thought that you were going to live a zero waste lifestyle, try that now. I don't think 40 is particularly old, and I say that as somebody who is 35. But this whole, like, am I going to have to work until I die thing, that is no way to look to the future. And I feel like if that's what you're worried about right now, then you need to try something different. You need to completely not upend your life, but be willing to take a risk, because at this point, what do you have to lose? More of the same? That doesn't sound like any fun. For those of you who are just joining us, I'm drinking out of my second novelty koozie of the evening. Let's get a couple more questions going. I know we're coming up on the hour, but if you guys think that this is fun and you want to keep going, like just like and subscribe. Or actually, I don't know where the like button is on this. I'm just gonna point all around. Like something. Okay. Let's see. Next question. Okay, all right, Ducky, I've got a word bubble from Ducky, so she's clearly typing something. Ooh, she's got two similar questions, so we're gonna answer them both. All right, hi ladies, I resent that. Do you have any advice on being assertive and confident in the workplace? It's honestly my biggest weakness because not only am I content to work on my own and not speak the entire day, I also get intense cold feet when I need to speak to anybody for anything. Not good since I want to advance my career, but I'm too terrified to ask the hiring manager to consider me. Ooh, honey. Plus, I want to be more personable and outspoken for my own self confidence for phone calls and making friends. Okay, and then a similar question is, hi bitches, I have been pretty successful in my career, but I'm a soft-spoken, unassertive person, and that has always been a struggle. Ugh, my loves, my non-confident loves. I wish that I could take a fifth of my confidence and impart it to you, because I am hella confident. I also suffer from imposter syndrome. It seems contradictory, but I promise it's not. I feel like the route to confidence is psyching yourself up. So we have an article about how to enter into awkward confrontations with your boss. And the gist of that article, spoiler alert, is that you need to have a psych yourself up ritual. Whether it is driving to work, blasting heavy metal or Cardi B or whatever gets your blood pumping, and, you know, having that be your moment to be like, yes, I am fucking awesome. I am a warrior. I'm gonna goddamn get it. I'm gonna slay the day. This is my moment. I'm gonna do this. Even if it's all fake, just telling yourself that really fucking works. Or you go in the mirror every day and you like stare yourself directly in the eye. Oh, where's the camera? Where's the camera? Am I looking in the camera? Oh, wait, there it is. There it is. Okay. I'm like, hey, you beautiful goddamn bitch. This is your day. This is your moment. You're gonna look them all in the face and make them eat it. Having a ritual like that can do wonders. So don't take yourself too seriously. Psych yourself up. Acknowledge that you're a fucking badass and realize that at the end of the day, no one's actually paying that much attention to you. So, like, when you're nervous that everyone is judging you or freaking out or, ooh, yeah, Motley Crue, there you go. You're gonna be fine. People aren't paying that close attention to you, and mostly everyone is too worried thinking about themselves to think too much about you. So you don't have a lot to lose by standing up for yourself, by putting yourself out there, psyching yourself up, and, you know, laying it on them. So especially, like, ask for that raise. Go ask for that raise. Go ask for a promotion, a raise, more responsibility, whatever is going to get you ahead in your career. All right, next question. Okay. Hey bitches, what is y'all's opinion of apps like Ellevest? So when they say apps like Ellevest, I'm going to assume that's robo-investors. So Ellevest, who I would love to sponsor us someday. Ellevest, if you're listening, like, come sponsor us. My opinion of them is I like their mission. For those who haven't heard of Ellevest, they are specifically for helping women and girls get into the investing game, which is really great. You know, a lot of women think investing is a game for the boys, and they are incorrect, because when women invest, we actually do it better than men. Like, the data shows that, like, men they don't sit on their investments long enough. They tend to trade things too quickly, whereas women set it and forget it and are a little more cautious. So that's nothing against men. Many of my best friends are men. I married a man. Men are fine. They're great. They're fine. The point being, Ellevest has a great mission. That said, their fees are a little high for my blood. I like my fees nice and low, like 0.02%. That's ideal. Maybe 0.01. Let's see. But so let's talk about apps like Ellevest in general. So robo-advisors. I don't find them wildly necessary. I say this as somebody who uses Acorns as a robo-advisor. but I think most of them are kind of set up to encourage frequent stock trading. And if you followed us for any length of time, you know that we don't hold with frequent stock trading. If you are getting to the stock market, your job is to buy into a low-cost index fund, stick your money in there, set it, forget it, walk away, look at it quarterly, maybe, and then retire in several years and be like, look at all this money that wasn't actively managed and yet still rose with the average of the market. So I don't like when apps like, I don't know, Robinhood or insert other one here, really encourage people to day trade or buy and sell stocks on a rapid basis. That's just, it's not my jam. It makes me really nervous. And it's just, I don't think that the average investor has any business fucking with those, you know? Keep your investing off your phone. That's my opinion. Okay, so we're coming up at the hour. Does anyone have any weird or non-money related questions? Anything related to the chickens, to Kitty? I am here to spill the tea on all of her dirty fucking secrets. By the way, if anybody has any questions like that. Yeah, let's see. Oh, we got a couple questions here. Got a couple questions. All right. I threatened to spill the tea on Kitty, so now I'm just going to do it. And she's watching, so she knows what I'm going to say. I feel like when you meet people, sometimes they have... Oh, I have 4 chickens, by the way. Those are Dolly... Oh my God. You guys are coming with a great question. This is amazing. So I have 4 chickens. Dolly Parton, Emmylou Harris, Tammy Wynette II, and June Carter Cash. They're amazing. They are probably asleep by now. These are bobbleheads of me and Kitty, which the Motley Fool gave to us. I'm wearing the shirt that the bobblehead's wearing. It's amazing. All right, so I feel like when you meet people, they, like, you have to find their quintessential life story, the story that defines them in life. And I learned this story from Kitty after knowing her for like 3 or 4 years. I think we were like seniors in college by the time I found out this story. And we went to college in the Northeast, so there's, like, skiing was a big thing there. And I skied. So I asked her, I was just like, do you know how to ski? And she was like, actually, I've been skiing once. And I was like, oh, do tell. And she was like, yes, I went skiing with my family once. And I told them that I could ski the Black Diamond Trail all by myself. And they didn't believe me. So to prove them wrong, I went all the way up to the top of the mountain on the ski lift. And I stumbled my way down the Black Diamond. For those of you who don't ski, Black Diamond is like the hardest kind of trail. And I fell and I was miserable, but I was like, I'm gonna make it down this by myself because I want my family to know that I could fucking do it. And she got all the way back to the bottom and her family goes, oh, hey, where have you been? We've been in the lodge, like, drinking hot cocoa this whole time. Where'd you wander off to? She was just like, I just skied the Black Diamond by myself. Didn't you see me come down that trail? And they're like, no, you didn't. And they didn't believe her, and she was really upset. And I love that story because it defines Kitty in so many ways. One, she would rather die on a snowy mountain pass than be wrong about anything. That is one of her quintessential qualities. And 2, like, the fact that somebody, like, she would do that whether or not somebody was watching would be just, like, so infuriating to her. So that's one of my favorite Kitty stories. Okay, so any other weird questions you want to throw in the chat? Otherwise, I'm going to get to my final official question in today's Drunk AMA. Which, by the way, thank you for... My parents need from the last month before I leave home. When you moved away from home, what did you wish you had done /said/experienced with your parents before you left? A chapter of our lives is ending. Oh my God, this is the sweetest thing I've ever heard. Okay, So first of all, when I left home, well, I went to college like 50 miles away from my parents. So it wasn't like a huge like move, especially because like during spring break and Thanksgiving and stuff, like I'd bring my friends from Illinois and Pittsburgh and California home with me. And they'd be like, oh my God, you grew up in this sylvan glade in the woods. And I was just like, oh my God, it was terrible when I was a teenager. I didn't feel like I had anything to do. But after college, I moved 2,000 miles west of where I grew up. And I moved out in a U-Haul, or barely a U-Haul, in a little truck with my mom. So we kind of Thelma and Louised it across the country. And it was an amazing trip. You know, it took us like 3 or 4 days because my mom was just like, I'm not driving more than 8 hours a day. And I was like, fine, we'll stop at another Steak and Shake. But we had a great time. Like this was in the era before like Bluetooth was really, God, I'm really dating myself. Bluetooth wasn't really a thing on the car stereo. So we read aloud to each other. Like whoever was driving, the other would like be reading a book aloud. I totally forget like what books we were reading to each other, but we just had this amazing bonding experience, mother-daughter experience as we were going. And then she, you know, dropped me off in my new place, and she, you know, I drove her to the airport, and she flew home. But we had that like last big bonding experience. So I think that the answer to your question is like before you leave, have an adventure with your parents. Like do so, like whether it be just a fucking game night or like going out to dinner or something, like find something to do with your parents that's going to make you feel like, you know, you've got one last hurrah. Like you don't need to like say that about it, but just have a moment that is going to sort of casually transfer you from childhood to adulthood, to the baby bird leaving the nest. Just like spend some time with your parents. And also like parents love to know that you listened to them and you like took their advice. My dad is an amateur carpenter, and he loves anytime I'm just like, Dad, I used a Craig jig to put together a table today. He's just like, that's my baby girl. So, you know, if you can like load the dishwasher or like do your own laundry and show your parents like, look, I did this, they're gonna be like, it wasn't all in vain. So yeah, just, you know, show them that you've been listening to them all these years and you've been taking those life lessons under advisement. So yeah, man, you made me all nostalgic for my parents, and I did not like living in their house. Well, nothing against my parents, but moving away was the best thing I ever did for myself. So there you go. Any other weird little questions before we wrap up? You guys have been amazing. Thank you so much for coming in the chat and asking me anything and joining me with beer and putting up with Kitty temporarily causing me to lose the signal because she called. That fucking bitch. I'm just kidding. I love her. And yes, so Doug says that he also did a road trip when he turned 40. So at least 2 of us say that it's right. And I did, thank you very much. I did indeed name my chickens after country music stars, although I kind of cheated. I did not name them. I gave the chickens to my husband as a Christmas gift in 2019. So he's the one who had the naming rights. And if you ever meet Dolly Parton the chicken, you will understand why her name is Dolly Parton the chicken, because she is, if Dolly Parton were a chicken. Like she is 1,000% extra and sweet and big and white and fluffy and just amazing. So this has been a live stream, a drunk AMA with your host, Bitches Get Rich's own Piggy. I pre-gamed a little bit with some beer. I think we've established my drunkenness by this point in the live stream. This has been great. Bye-bye. All right, how do I turn this off? But, no. Oh, God. Mr. Piggy is amazing. Oh, God. How do I turn this off? Oh, I figured it out. Okay. I love you guys. Bye. Bitches out.